Hi, I'm Leanne Ely. I'm a nutritionist, a New York Times best-selling author, and some people even say I'm a life coach. I started the Daily Dish Show to share my story, my truth, and my journey to vibrancy, and to inspire others to do the same. Because it's all about grit, perseverance, and finding a way despite the odds. It's about embracing the whole woman, not just the parts that are easy to love, and feeding her heart, mind, body, and soul. But I found that this isn't just my story, it's your story too. It's go time. This is the Daily Dish. Well, hello. Welcome to Monday. You know what Monday is? It's Motivational Monday, and we got all kinds of things on the menu for today. That's what I have to say. Jocelyn's already here in the house, throwing down the hashtag HotMilk30. We are, it is June 19th today. Do you know what that means? We are more than halfway there. We're about 3/4 of the way there. Lizzie's in the house. Jeanette, Catherine, so good to have you here. I know I'm tan and I'm orange and I'm also sweaty. Do you see my sweat marks? Yeah. At least my face is clean. My hair is wet. It was quite a game today. Of course we did that. Carol, hello. Alice is here as well. I am really excited about today. I'm going to kind of preview you with some stuff. I'm trying to hide my sport bra here. It's just too sweaty. Get it out. There it is. How's that? Better? Hi, Ann. Anyway, today is quite a day, and we are kind of early previewing something really, really special. If you got the email, you know. And I'll tell you what, you guys are buying it out the door already. And not just one, not just two, but 3 packs are flying. You know what I'm talking about? Anybody know? Hi, Sue. It's Crave Water. This is it right here. Crave Water. Now, I'm going to tell you the story a little bit about this, okay? Are you excited, Carol? It's so exciting. It's so exciting. And guess what? It's in my water bottle, by the way. Crave Water is L-glutamine. And I've been doing this for a long time. L-glutamine, mix it up with water, drink it down, really does a number on cravings, right? But then I was on TikTok, and I made that go viral, by the way. This was going viral last summer. We even had Fox News reached out to us and said, hey, we'd love to have you on. Of course, July 4th. Nobody saw the message, and that never had. But they wanted to have me on the news because that video had gone viral on TikTok. And what it was all these people keep saying, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm not smoking. I've got a handle on the sugar. I'm not eating, because cravings is a certain area of the brain, right? There's a certain area of the brain, and we call it the pleasure center, that is really stimulated with craving. But to cut it off, you got to do something. And L-glutamine, it's just a simple amino acid, does the trick. Well, L-glutamine by itself, I didn't find it to be completely awful, but I noticed there was a lot of people, oh, it tastes terrible. It's just awful. I can't stand it. This, that, and the other thing. They used the dish for the dipping, and they made the Crave Water themselves. And then I was looking, and I thought, well, I wonder if anybody has a flavored L-glutamine. I looked, and I found some. They're all with sucralose. Not over my dead body. I'm never going to drink that stuff. So I thought, what if it tasted like lemonade? What if it was actually delicious? Well, it is. So this is L-glutamine, of course, and it has a lemon flavor, and it has a little bit of stevia for the sweetener, and it is off the chain delicious. As a matter of fact, it's so good and it dissolves quickly in water. It's so good that I'm starting to add it to, I had in my there's hot milk in here and Crave Water. And it's great. And I'm always have a handle on my cravings. I'm getting my L-glutamine. It's helping my gut. It's helping the cravings, let me just tell you. And it tastes really good. Who doesn't hate having something taste good, right? I mean, come on. You can get yours. This is the pre-sale for our L-glutamine. Although I just got a note today from Emily, who does our manufacturing, and she said, you know what she said? Guess what? It shipped early. It shipped today. So it's out for today. So we'll probably have it by Wednesday, maybe Thursday. And as soon as we get it, we're going to be shipping it all out. It's a limited run. It's going to take us 2 weeks to get the next run. So if this is something that you have the least bit of an inkling that this is something that you want, strong suggestion you get on top of it, because I'm introducing it to my TikTok audience today and it's going to blow up. So that's savingdinner.com/crave water. And it's fantastic stuff. Just letting you know. This actually is a mock-up. It's L-glutamine underneath. This is a mock-up. You'll see the real thing soon. Isn't that exciting? Yes. No, don't. No. No. Okay, so this is the instructions, okay? This is the instructions for making this, because remember, we need the dose. So we want to do 1 scoop of L-glutamine to about 16, 18 ounces of water and shake it up. And then you want to be drinking it down. If you're combating cravings, you want to drink it down like now. You want that 4 grams of L-glutamine to be working. So you're going to drink it. You don't have to slam it down, but you don't have to guzzle, but you do need to get it drunk, I'd say within the first 30 minutes, okay? And I wouldn't do a pitcher. I would do it by the 16 to 18 ounces. That's how I would do it. Consider it, it's a preventative to keeping you off the cravings. We're gonna be talking about cravings today, by the way. And all this week, because there's just some real intricacies about it and how it messes with you. And a lot of times that will get in your way of having success, like on the Hot Melt 30 or whatever it is. So we're going to talk about that. Meanwhile, okay, so I talked about crave water. Meanwhile, we're also, we still have some seats available for Full Bloom. You can find out all about Full Bloom this year. We're doing it virtually next year. We're going to be back in person in July, and we'll give you all the scoop on that, I promise you. But go to savingdinner.com/bloom for all the details. Now, let me tell you, our theme this year is more than enough, living a life of abundance. And what does that mean to you? Well, you get to define that exactly how you want it to be. And at our virtual gathering on Saturday, July 22nd, it's going to be great. So yeah, it's July 22nd, not July 2023. It's July 22nd, okay? Saturday, July 22nd. And we start at 9 a.m. in the morning, Eastern. I know for you West Coasters, not fun, but I guarantee you it's going to be an incredible day. Wait till you see everything that we have pulled together for you. The Dream Team and I have been busy on working on this event. We're excited. So that's number one. The other thing is that we are doing our skincare all this month. You guys have been taking really good advantage of this and with using the BOGO code. Well, for this BOGO code, it's the AHA serum, alpha hydroxy. I think that's how it is, AHA. But let me just tell you what it is. This stuff is fruit acid, and it sloughs off the dead cells. And when it sloughs off the dead cells, you get a brighter complexion underneath. I use this every night. Now, one of the things that I'm not wild about, but this is the way it is see how liquidy it is? It's really watery. So what I do, I'm just going to tell you what I do is I mix it with my deep moisture serum, but that's not on sale yet. I'm just letting you know that's how I do it. And then it gets in there, and I don't ever forget your neck, ladies. We have to not forget our necks. Anything left over on your hands, top of hands, because our hands, they need a little love too. So it's buy one, get one. Go to savingdinner.com/BOGO and go get your skincare. We've been having fun with this. I hope you guys really like this. I mean, I love it. I think it's fantastic stuff. So we have our Full Bloom, that's savingdinner.com/bloom. We have our AHA serum. We have our Crave water. You know where all those things are, right? And don't forget, we have free shipping if you do $300 or more in the lower 48. The shipping's on us. So don't forget that. Okay? You ready? Should we go? You want to talk about this? Cheers, Nancy. Here's our Nancy. I didn't see you there earlier. I'm glad you're here, Nancy. Let's talk. Oh. Let me give you, first of all, the quote of the week. It's so You'll never find time for anything. If you want time, you must make it. Now, Charles Buxton was an English philosopher in the 1800s. This is what he said. And I really like this because it's the truth. That is oftentimes our excuse for getting out of anything, isn't it? Oh, I just don't have the time. But if it's important to us, we find the time, don't we? That's what this is. Find your time. Make your time. And by the way, he didn't know about this, but we do. Use a time block sheet. Super helpful for everything. Makes the world go around. Helps you to see where your time's going. All right, let's get busy. I want to talk about cravings because I talk about cravings a lot on our TikTok channel because this is what people respond to. One of the things that I really love TikTok, by the way. I know, weird, right? I'm not really wild about most social media because I'm so, burned out on it a lot of times. But TikTok's a little bit different. You get instant feedback. And when you get that instant feedback, you can figure out what's lighting people's fire. And you can see how many times they've watched your video and everything. So it's obvious that when I talk about cravings, people are listening. So I'm going to talk about cravings. And I think cravings are really important to get underneath and to understand and to use some tools to conquer them. And obviously, I think Crave Water is probably one of the most effective tool on the planet. But we'll talk about some other ideas here. Hi, Teresa. I'm glad you're here. So first of all, cravings are a response to stress for the most part. Did you know that? They mostly are. And though stress is an inevitable part of human life, there are a lot of ways in which, especially women, by the way, cope with that extra stress. And a lot of it is, have you ever heard the term comfort food? I'm sure you have. We turn to things that give us comfort. And a lot of times what it is food, lots of it. And you know what? Here's the phenomenal, though, which I did not know this, but this is true when I was digging around and doing some research on this, that it's often it's sugary, fatty, or salty foods are the craving foods that people turn to. Nobody goes and says, I'm just craving a bunch of broccoli. I'm just craving whatever. Sometimes we'll say, hey, I'm craving a steak or whatever, but then we have the steak and it's over. And we have a stress response to something, but it's not, I need to eat steak. It's usually junk, usually. It's usually sugary. It's usually fatty. It's usually something salty. That's how it works. And this leads to emotional eating. And I feel like I can talk about this, one as a nutritionist and two as a human who has been through this and has battled this fight against emotional eating for years. There was a time when I was just a fat nutritionist and no longer, but back then it was a yo-yo constantly. Emotionally eat, feel bad about myself, get back to my healthy ways of eating and doing all the things, and then all of a sudden just fall off the rails. And when we do that, we find ourselves, our physical and our mental well-being just being completely chipped away at, our self-esteem, all of it. And there is this connection between stress and cravings that we cannot deny. And, pinkies up, man. If you've ever been through this and you understand what I'm talking about, there's no shame in this. There is a way out of it. And that's why I wanted to talk about it, especially as we are here in our third week of Hot Melt 30. Because the Hot Melt 30 kind of brings out a lot of stuff, doesn't it? I found it did. It brings out a lot of stuff because it makes you say, what you're made out of. It helps you to see, are you going to hang with it or are you just going to fall apart? It helps you to see the realness, really, of your commitment, the integrity of your word, and further, where the soft spots are, where the weaknesses are. And so if we can get into that and get underneath it, we can find ourselves in a better place and we can find ourselves overcoming this stuff. So let's take a look then at what we can, at the emotional, the first steps for recognizing what emotional eating looks like. So, have you ever done this? And everybody, I guess, no, I guess I'm the only one because nobody said pinkies up that they don't have this issue. So, coming from my place and other people's places in life, I'll tell you what it is. When we consume foods, number one is eating in response to food. Eating in response to emotions. We feel upset and we go and we eat, crunchy, mean foods, angry foods. I like that. There you go. Crave Station, Lizzie. Teresa. Okay, Teresa's a stress eater too. Thank you, Teresa, for telling me because I need somebody on my side here. Been there, right? But we find ourselves consuming food in response to stress, anxiety, or even sadness. Some people, they don't want to eat. They shut down. They just can't eat. Not me. I'll find myself going, oh, what can I find to comfort myself with? That's why I really am completely wild about this crave water stuff. It's really is a game changer. But the physical hunger that we feel isn't there. It's an emotional hunger. It's a hole that we're trying to fill. And so when we're eating in response to emotions, we find ourselves maybe a little bit uncontrollable. We find ourselves eating stuff that we wouldn't normally eat. And we find ourselves in a place of high stress. Okay, that's number one. Number two is the cravings of specific foods. Because why is it, but I don't know, but this is what the research says, that we crave junk food or sweets because they provide temporary relief to negative emotions. There's something comforting about a comfort food. It puts ourselves in a place of just, it feels better for the moment, right? Just for the moment that we're doing it. We think of the thing, we go get the thing, we eat the thing, and then later, well, that's just later. But there's another part of this, and this is part of something that I dealt with as well, mindless eating. And mindless eating, what does that mean? You're just eating for the sake of throwing something down your mouth in order to deal with these emotions. And sometimes that leads to binge eating, which been there, done that. Also, got the t-shirt on that one. And binge eating makes you feel really like garbage because you get to you're trying to get to the place of feeling something when you're binge eating. And binge eating is a sign that your emotions have run amok. And when that happens, you don't pay attention really to how much food is being consumed until you see that empty bag of chips or cookies or whatever it is that you intentionally bought as the food to allay those emotions. So that's another sign, is if you're, borderline binge eating or mindless eating kind of a thing, or binge eating. There you go. And number 4 is the biggie, which I think attaches to all of these, is experiencing guilt or shame after a binge or after eating something that, should maybe be off the menu kind of a thing. And what happens there? We find ourselves in a cycle, and it's a negative loop. And that negative loop keeps us starting. Here I am, it's Monday, I'm doing everything. I've got my hot melt soup on, I'm doing all this stuff. And then we get to kind of Wednesday, things are going bad at work. Thursday happens, and that's it. Your boss is a jerk. And here we go. There's stop at the 7-Eleven or stop at the Taco Bell on the way home or whatever. And off the rails we go, completely off the rails. And then the experience of guilt and shame, just like, well, I've done it now. And here we go. And it's just so frustrating, so aggravating. And for me, it was so shameful because I thought, how do I coach people if I can't even control myself? How do I coach people if my emotions are running amok, right? What can I do? Well, I had a fabulous friend of mine who is Hyla Cass, and she is a psychiatrist. Now, understand, psychiatrists are MDs, and they specialize in the brain. Her specialty was addiction. She had addicted patients from all walks of life. People like me with the food issues, people with drug issues, people with booze issues, cigarettes. Addicted patients seek out her advice. Do you know why? Because she didn't just say, here's your medicine, here's your, she didn't do that. What she did was say, take some L-glutamine. And she had them up to about 4 grams a day of L-glutamine, because it does the same thing in the pleasure center of the brain for whatever the addiction is. And where does the addiction come from except from a craving to fix this addiction, to fix this emotional hole that we have? We all have them, and we all deal with them differently. But if we have a craving and we deal with the craving, then we've got the work done, partially anyway, for dealing with the addiction. That's where she starts. And I'm, full of an admiration for her. And I just went, aha, started using that. And that was the last time I had to deal with the chocolate. Because I went through 2 phases of dealing with excessive chocolate eating. I've told you the story, the peanut M&Ms, so much so that I would cut up the roof of my mouth with those little shardy outsides of the candy. That's how bad it got. So getting beyond that led to a place of not having to deal with so much shame, because then I found myself in control again. And being in control of your bodily autonomy is huge, because if you don't have control of yourself and what it is that you want to do, and you're just at the mercy and giving your power up to a bag of M&Ms, that's really disempowering. That's really low. That's no. And I told you that story too, when I was in my old Volvo station wagon, driving home, eating the M&Ms, when it occurred to me that I felt powerless, I felt out of control, I felt just worthless. And then I thought, well, who's got the power here? I thought those M&Ms have more power than I do. Giving your power away to a bag of garbage, that was probably one of my lowest points. But it didn't get me away from the chocolate. It's seared in my memory. I remember it well. And I know what it feels like to be out of control and have cravings have the control over you. That's why I wanted to do this. So one of the things that you can do, obviously, is drink the Crave water. Now, the Crave water, again, we're doing 4 grams, which is 1 scoop of L-glutamine into a glass, 16, 18 ounces of water, and it mixes up really well. And then we drink it. We're probably going to want to have that whole thing drunk in about half an hour, because what we're trying to do, we're trying to move the needle, trying to get that going. Hi, Karen. 4 ounces. You want 4 grams, Anne. It's 4 grams, and 4 grams is 1 scoop. You can have 8 grams, about up to 8 grams a day. But, if you're having that kind of a situation, you could use your jars of L-glutamine, the regular ones. It has almost no flavor. Just use that on a regular basis in your smoothie every day. That's a good thing to do. So what can we do then? How can we fight this? Obviously, Crave water. I'm going to just tell you, I think that's like the number one solution, because it has a physical impact on you. That's number one. Number two, though, is to identify the triggers. What triggers you? Are you familiar with the emotions that trigger you? Are you familiar with situations that cause those cravings to just go out of control? If you are, do you know what happens? If you are, then you get an opportunity to develop a strategy. Okay, so every time my boss says X, Y, and Z, or does X, Y, and Z, this is usually what happens. So I'm going to have my little Crave water here on my desk, and as soon as that happens, I'm going to go make myself a little bottle of Crave water and down the hatch, and know that I'll be in control again, right? But also when you can understand and pinpoint those triggers, that's when you can come up with an effective strategy. Go outside. And I mean, I have my cigarette smokers because I get a lot of these guys. They were saying, but I still crave a cigarette after dinner. And I said, okay, here's the deal. Remember, we can deal with the physicalness of what a craving is, but the psychological part is on you. And here's some thoughts. Like if you were trying to quit smoking, for example, instead of just sitting there at the dinner table like you used to always do, smoke a cigarette, right? Don't do that anymore. Instead, get up and go and take a walk. So change the behavior so that you're going to get the results, not just the physical results, but you're also going to get the psychological results as well. It just makes a big difference to your brain. There's a lot of, a lot of moving parts to this stuff. Number 2 is find some additional coping mechanisms. One of the things that I love right here, I love my journal. My journal holds, boy, I just, I need to have I need to have an idea of what I would do if, God forbid, something should happen to me. Don't read my journals, burn them. But I use them for everything. I use them. It's kind of a feedback loop for me. I strongly suggest everybody be all about their journal, because that journal can help you to sort out what the heck is going on. Talking with a friend can also help, as long as it just doesn't turn into this session. You don't want that. What you want is solution. What you want is just to say, I just feel really bad about this stuff. And you want somebody who's going to mirror you and let you bounce things off, but not get away with murder. Because honestly, complaining shrinks your prefrontal cortex. Did you know that, right? It shrinks your prefrontal cortex. So we don't want to be those people. We want to be the people who are solution oriented. And that's really important. Exercise is a huge deal. You get endorphins from that. You change your body's chemistry. So that's another thing that you can do. Go out and take that walk, or go out and do some jumping jacks or some high knees or whatever you need to do. I can't remember who it was, and I think it could have been our Tanya, who would go into the bathroom at her work and do a 4-minute workout when she was stressed out or just wanted to get that 4-minute workout done. She did a video of herself doing the 4-minute workout in the bathroom too. Wasn't it great? It's fantastic. Number 3 is to eat an anti-inflammatory diet. You knew I was going to say that, right? Eating an anti-inflammatory diet, of course, using hot melt principles, is one of the ways in which you can really conquer these cravings, because it doesn't feed your carbohydrate craving at all. As a matter of fact, it cuts it off, and it puts you into the place of starting to burn fat instead of burning all your fuel. Because if you're just in this loop of just burning up the glycogen that you're storing in your liver because of all the carbohydrates that you're eating, you're never going to get to that place. You might lose a pound here and a pound there. But you really want to get serious about it? This is how you do it. And your body knows, right? Your body will tell you, hey, you got a little too much fat around your middle there. That means we're not processing carbs very well. We're storing them, sister. So if you could see your storage bin, if you got a waist full of storage, then you know what you need to do about carbohydrates. Got to cut them out. Cut them out. Do you know that carbohydrates are the only macronutrient that you can cut out and not cause any nutritional deficiencies in your life? Your body will look for alternate ways of getting the energy that it needs out of carbohydrates. It'll get the sugar out of a steak if it needs to, because it's glucose that causes your body, right, every single cell to work. But your body will work harder to pull it all out, and it will run on fat as fuel as well. That's why when you finally get to that place, it's not pretty getting there sometimes, but when you get to that place of being able to use your fat as fuel, that's why you drop it like that. That's why Tanya did what she did when she dropped all that. Number 4 is, if you are completely out of control, you've tried all these things and you just can't get on top of it, go seek help. Go see somebody like Hylic House. Go see somebody who's going to say to you, okay, we got to talk about this. Because underneath all of that could be some childhood trauma, could be some other things that just haven't been dealt with. We have to deal with emotions. We can't stuff them. And we know that, right? We can't stuff them. So if you get to this place of saying, I've tried all of this stuff. Nothing's working. Seek professional help. I promise you, getting ahead of cravings, getting ahead of emotional eating, and being a woman in charge of your own autonomy, that's empowering. Peanut M&Ms, not so much. Having control, massively empowering. All right, so don't forget, join us tomorrow at Saving Dinner right here. We are going to be talking some more about some cool things. A little bit about cravings, a little bit about some other stuff, but just kind of the impact of getting ahead of your emotions so that you can have control over your life. Huge deal. If you missed our announcements, go to savingdinner.com/announcements to get your links. Deal? All right. Peace be with you. I appreciate you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining me today. You can find me on TikTok for daily tips to help support your most vibrant life. And remember, you are the author of your own story. Until next time.